I'm going to show you how to create a distribution list within Outlook 2007. Really simple to do, a good way to send a email message to a group of people that you typically contact quite a bit and need to get a hold of. So right now I currently have Outlook open, but if you don't, you can go to Start, and Outlook should be here on the main part of your Start menu. Otherwise, you can go to All Programs and find Microsoft Office, and that should be where you can find Outlook 2007. But I have it open right now, so I can go ahead and go into Outlook, and I can click on my contacts right here. It's probably the best place to start. So I'll go to contacts. I think I've explained before that if you hit the drop down arrow, you can go ahead and kind of add any item within Outlook that you'd like to. By default, depending on what section you're on, I'm on the contact section of the program right now. If I just hit new, it would create a new contact. But I want to go ahead and hit the drop down arrow and hit distribution list. So really you can do this from any part of the program. I can go to my mail, and then I can go to the drop down arrow under new, and then go to distribution list. So I'm going to go ahead and hit distribution list, and now it pops up with a prompt to create my new distribution list. So I'm going to call it, let's say I have a baseball team that I want to keep in touch with. So I'm going to type in baseball team. And now I've got a name for it. Up here on the ribbon, you're going to see a lot of different options as far as members, notes, select members, add new. So first thing I can do, if I want to add someone from my current contacts list or the organization contacts list, I can hit select members. Or if I have someone that I don't have in my address book yet, I can hit add new. So we're going to do both. So I'm going to go here and hit select members. And here it comes up with the global address list. So I can go ahead and add anyone that is on our Exchange address list. But let's say I want to add, we'll add one person from my Exchange address book. So I'm going to just click on his name and add to the members and hit OK. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and hold off on hitting OK, because I want to just add that one member from our global address list within Exchange. I can also hit my drop-down list here, and from my own address Outlook book, I can hit contacts. And if I hit contacts, it brings up all of my personal contacts that I've added in here myself. So I'm going to go ahead and add another person here, and go ahead and add them to my baseball team list. So let's say those two people are on my baseball team, and I want to add them. So I just need to make sure I hit this drop-down arrow over here. So there's a lot of different options you can select. The global address list is the default list within the Exchange server that allows you to contact anyone within our organization. Otherwise, you can go to your Outlook address book, which is your personal contacts list. So I've added a member from each, so I've done with that now, so I can hit OK. And now it shows their names over here under the members of the baseball team distribution list. So now I have that done. And let's say I have a new person on the team. I haven't added them to my contacts yet, but I want them to be on the distribution list. So I'm going to go back up here to the ribbon, and I'm going to hit Add New. So I hit Add New, and here's the display name, and we're going to add the person's name and the email address, and then SMTP is the standard email type. You can hit custom type or internet type. So custom is fine. Or excuse me, the default is probably fine for what you need it for. Internet format, let Outlook choose the best sending format. I leave that by default. Send plain text only is probably the most compatible way to send an email, or send in rich text. That's probably the least compatible way. So I'd say let Outlook decide. So we'll go ahead and hit OK. Before you hit OK, though, if you'd like to add this person to your contacts, you can click this little box there. So that way you can add that individual person to a contact in your address book. Otherwise, if you don't hit that box, it'll just add this person to that distribution list, and you'll have to re-add them if you want to put them in your contacts later on. So let's say I want to keep him in my contacts also. So I'll hit Add to Contacts, OK, and there is the name. I've got my 3 players in my baseball team, and I want to go ahead and hit Save and Close. And now you're probably wondering how we want to send to that list. So first we'll look at it here within our contacts. We go to Contacts, and we go to the contact list. You'll see the different cards here. Like right here I have there's a individual contact. It tells the details, and then over here is my group, my distribution list. So it says it's a group and has the name of it. I can go ahead and right click on there, and I can go create new message to contact. That's one way to do it. I'm going to go ahead and show you just to kind of get a better idea just from a regular mail message. So if I go up here to New and hit Mail Message, I can go ahead and hit my To button here, and I'm on my global address book now, global address list, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the drop down arrow and change that to my actual contacts locally. Within the global address list, we have a few different distribution lists that are on the Exchange server itself. That's administrated by myself, so I don't want to select those because that's not the one I created. The one I created is my personal list, and that is within the Outlook address book. So I'll just hit Contacts, and now if I go down my list here, I see a bold name here, and that bold name gives me a good idea of if it's a distribution list or not. So there's my new contact that I added to that distribution list. It's not in bold, and here's my distribution list. So I want to send to the whole list, and I'll hit To, and I can also send to other individual people in here also. So I can go ahead and just click both those. I want to send to my group and that individual. So I can go ahead and OK, and then there in the To line I've got the distribution list, that individual contact. I can type my subject, and then I can go ahead and type my message. And I can go ahead and hit Send, and that will send to all three members on this distribution list and this individual member also. So if I don't want to send to that individual member, I'll just go ahead and take them out, and now I have a message ready to send to the three members of the baseball team. So really simple to do, really easy to set up, and a good way to get a hold of your contacts within your Outlook mail program.
How to add a network printer if you're on Windows XP Home. I assume everyone knows how to go to Start, Control Panel. Then you're going to get the window and you're going to click on Printers and Faxes. Then you're going to go to Add a Printer, and you'll get this standard window here. And instead of choosing a local printer attached to this computer, you probably want to choose a network printer. Wrong. You want to choose local printer attached to this computer. Why? Because when you say network printer, they're actually thinking of a shared printer, like another computer on your network that has a printer attached with USB port to it, and then it's got the Windows Share services. Whereas a network printer, a true network printer, has its own network card and it's its own computer, and it can accept its own print jobs rather than going through a separate computer. So we're going to choose local printer attached to this computer. Uncheck this box about automatically detecting. Click Next. Now it's going to want to search your whole computer, even though you chose it not to automatically detect it. It's going to want to search your whole computer, all your USB ports, parallel ports, that type of thing, to see if it can find a printer. Of course, it found none, so it's going to ask me what port. We're going to create a new port, standard TCP/IP port. Hit Next, and then you get this window here. That's where most people go wrong. They don't choose this right here about the TCP/IP, and that's where most people go wrong. They choose a network printer. You have to choose local printer, and then come here to the TCP/IP printer port wizard. Then you have to enter in the printer name or IP address, and I think it's 192.168.0.102. I think that's the